Okay, good evening esports fans, or afternoon rather, where I am at the moment. We are coming back for a very exciting match. This is the jDL, of course. And this is with Season 1 just finished. Let me just quickly switch the stream over. There we go. With Season 1 just finished, we're now in the situation where we're not sure who's going to the playoffs because teams have the same number of scores. And that's what's going on here. Execration and First Departure, both rocking in with 7 wins and 11 losses, I think. I'll double check that in one moment. Let me have a quick look-ski. Yep, 7 wins, 11 losses for each of these teams. So they're going to have a best-of-1 match now to decide which of them is safe and secure and going to Division 1, and which of them, unfortunately, is going to be going to the Division 1-2 playoffs. So very, very interesting way the tournament works there, basically. And we've got some very good bands coming out as well. All top tier, unsurprising. I've said before and I'll say again, I don't think Nyx deserves the attention he gets when it comes to immediate first bands. But Invoker has been dominating the metagame recently. It's all about the Quaswex. Although there's actually been some interesting deviations on that recently. But we'll see what happens in this game before I overanalyze the Invoker ban, which means he won't even appear. And then there's a Batrider who's just crazy initiation. Plus damage over time. It's area control. If you drop all that fire around a tower that you're either trying to siege or defend, it's huge. Naga, you know, I don't think Naga would be as big as she is if it wasn't for Scythe's Miracle. Miracle on Naga is terrifying. Miracle on Naga can win games regardless of what happens to everybody else. And of course, a lot of other teams play incredibly well as well. You know, Archeezy's been playing it for a long time as well. But here we go. First pick comes up from First Departure, and it's a Lycan. And Lycan is definitely tier 1 at the moment. I mean, I've kind of had this easy progression over the last kind of 2 or 3 weeks. It's gone from, yeah, okay, I get why some people like Lycan, but I think he's not that good. And then it was kind of, okay, I can see why they pick him, I guess. And then it was, okay, but maybe aren't there better choices? And then it was, okay, he's good. And increasingly, especially with the strategies I see coming out of the Asia 1 division, it is huge. And actually, that makes it quite interesting that Execration have picked Nature's Prophet. What Lycan is great at, in my opinion, and what I've seen him work best at, isn't being the hardest of late game carries. It's all about pushing. I'm not saying you should always rush the Necro book. Personally, I like Basher there. But the point is, you use his auras, you use his howl on your own minions, and you absolutely crush face. Now, Nature's Prophet is a great person to go alongside that Lycan. You know, his Treants will all benefit from massive thing. I think someone gave me the stat. It's something like a level 4 Treant, when under the effect of Howl, will actually double in damage. It's huge, and then that's on top of the yeah, it's just huge, and that's on top of any other bonuses you have. You know, you've often got Vlads, you've often got other things. It's huge, and you know, people always say that Asian Dota is late game, farm up your hard carry Dota. That's not what I've been seeing in JDL Season 1. I've been seeing preponderance of hard push early game, and not just any hard push, summon based hard push. So both teams seem to be going for that. We've got Nature's Prophet and we've got Lycan. We also have this Ember Spirit pickup coming out from First Departure, and I love that because it is amazing against Nature's Prophet. Ember Spirit Sleight of Fist does more damage the more enemies are in the area, so long as you've got something like a Battle Fury or a Mjolnir to give you that AoE, because you'll be hitting AoE on all of the targets once for every single target. It's huge. So if they're doing a big tower siege with a whole load of Treants or something around, maybe even some Necro units as well, Ember Spirit is actually going to be doing more damage. It's ridiculous. Also very good at pushing, also very good at counter pushing. What we're seeing here, other than the Lycan pickup, is a lot of heroes which are very, very good at controlling an area. So you're trying to siege someone's tier 3s. You really do not want to be running up against a Sand King, unless you know for sure his ult is popped, because you know that he's just going to have the easiest time of stunning in and popping Epicenter on your entire team. Ember Spirit, similar thing with Sleight of Fist. Nature's Prophet, kind of similar thing with his ult plus the trees. And Shadow Shaman, I mean, that's another just picture perfect area denial set of abilities. You've got Hex and Shackle, they're good for ganks. You've got Ether Shock, that's a bit of kind of creep clearage mainly. And then you've got the wards. you know, you can drop them down, and that's actually an amazing pickup for them, because of course the wards, I think,
5 seconds.
wouldn't take damage from Sleight of Fist. I'm not 100% sure on that, because Sleight of Fist is of course physical damage.
Reserve time.
I'll have to look up on that or test it, or hopefully see it in this game, and I'll have learned something too. Won't that be wonderful? I'm just gonna send out a quick tweet, try and get myself a few more people in here. And wow, why am I dropping so many frames? Let me see if I can do something about that while we're still in the draft. That is huge.
Enchantress.
What is going on, internet?
Dyer's
I really
pit.
am not sure what that's about. Maybe I'm just in the middle of a high EMP wave or something. I don't know. First departure, picking up the Enchantress, and this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. It's push oriented, and it's all about having lots of units and then buffing them through the use of passives, auras, whatever. So now we're going to have Enchantress with, you know, who knows? It'll be Centaurs, it'll be
10
Satyrs,
seconds
and suddenly
to
they'll all
go.
be doing bonus damage because of Lycan's Howl. They'll all have bonus armor and
5
lifesteal because
seconds.
somebody's going to pick up a Vlad's. Execration are going to try and do the same thing with the
time.
Treants, but they're going to run into a bit of problem with Ember Spirit around. So they've changed the strategy a little bit. I think they even might have just picked up Nature's Prophet to stop First Departure Galen, but they've decided to go for not summons based kind of area siege, but more just kind of traditional. So we've got the Sand King, we've got the Shadow Shaman, and actually Morphling adds quite a lot to that as well, just because he's so damn quick and so hard to kill that when you're sieging a tier 3 or whatever, he can just go in and start harassing the enemy team, you know, or send in a replicate or something. And yeah, he doesn't have like he doesn't have one of those ults where you're just like, okay, that's beautiful for sieging tier 3s, but he's not bad at it. He's not bad, because having a really hard heavy carry nipping around the back and you know, nuke down the enemy heroes is obviously going to do you a world of good. Do you an absolute world of good. Looking at the bans, the Chen came out as a ban from Execration. I think that probably encouraged First Departure to pick up the Enchantress. Chen, I think, is actually slightly more annoying with his heal, with his ability to move his team around. First Departure banning out AA and Mirana. Well, you know, a Mirana Invis would turn a very good push into an absolutely devastating push, so I can certainly appreciate that. And yep, AA is another good area denial kind of hero with his ult. He can stay at base, lob one of those up to the opposing tier 3s, and that'll be a whole lot of damage and a whole lot of heal prevention. It is huge. FD though, choose to go for Dazzle. Now I really like this. One of the kind of hallmarks of doing a hard push summon based strat is you are going to be trying to push very early. You know, the effectiveness of the summons will wear off, so you want it to happen as early as possible. Now, what that means is your heroes are often going to end up trying to do some diving, you know, because the enemy heroes are going to be backing up, but they're going to be near the tower. And First Departure at the moment don't have the best team for diving. Enchantress is very squishy if she gets hit by a tower. Ember Spirit very, very highly mobile, but not too much damage at the early game. Lycan, very, very fast, quite a lot of damage, but again, not the tankiest character. So, you know, they're all fairly good, but they're not amazing. Add a Dazzle into that, you've got Shallow Grave and you've got Shadow Wave. That makes your diving squad much more survivable, makes getting kills much more feasible. And yeah, I really like the pickup. So, just trying to guess what the lanes are going to be here, based on what we've already seen. Morphling, you're going to be safe lane carry, I'm pretty sure of that. I would personally really like a Sand King, Shadow Shaman, Morphling tri-lane with a Nature's Prophet in the offlane. Now they could go aggressive tri-lane with that. I think they've got enough disabled to pull it off, especially with First Departure having an Enchantress in the jungle, so that'll be a little bit less lane presence. But Morphling does require just a lot of farm. You know, he's a little squishy until all his skills come online, so I think they should run that solo safe and pick up a mid here. I'm just trying to think. The exception to that would be if they thought Ember Spirit was going mid, in which case Sand King might be a good mid pickup with Caustic Finale. Force Ember Spirit to take quite a lot of harass every time he goes in for a last hit. But yeah, we'll see. Having a look at First Departure, this is actually interesting. Enchantress presumably will be going in the jungle. Dazzle, I assume, will be supporting the safe lane. But unless we're going to see a Lycan solo offlane, which I very much doubt, or an Ember Spirit solo offlane,
5 seconds.
then they still need And yeah, I mean, is it Ember Spirit mid?
Reserve time.
It could well be Ember Spirit mid. We'll have to see. Execration though, picking up on it, it'll be Tinker mid. I think Lycan will probably be going solo using his wolves to try and survive. And it's going to be Magnus versus Tinker on the mid. Both of those coming out right at the end of the picks. And very, very interesting there. Interesting. I do like the Magnus pickup though. It's going to really help the Execration ability to just kind of, as I've been saying the whole way through, control the lanes. And now, while First Departure are going to be trying to set up, big defensive positionings, making sure that they've got Ember Spirit ready to do Sleight of Fist and March the Machines going and everything else like that. Execration now have the option of just having a Magnus blink in and push someone out again. Very, very effective way to counter that. If you have decent Magnus players, so we'll have to see. Now I'll get on with introducing the teams. Having a look up on Execration, we've got Ninja Boogie rocking out on the Morphling. Now I always say I think Morphling items just generally look pretty rubbish, but he's got some nice kit. I like those arms. Standing next to him right now, we've got BG01 on the Shadow Shaman. Anything interesting? Nope. Oh, and a bit of action going on down here as Enchantress gets spotted out by Magnus. They're going to contest the tier 1 rune. Come over to our side, says Lubby. We have mid player playing mid on the Magnus, big surprise there. Fox rocking out on the Sand King. Oh, I do like Sand King items. Nothing too exciting there. And then down warding the enemy jungle, we have Lumic on the Nature's Prophet. Over on the First Departure side, we have Visage. Just for any American, that is Visage, not Visage. That's Visage on the on the Enchantress. We have Dafa on the Lycan there. And I was right, he is going to be the one going solo. He'll be using the wolves to survive. We have KS, I like that name, on the Ember Spirit. And we have Chains and Dazzle heading up to... Chains and Lubby on Tinker and Dazzle heading up to the offlane. So it was Ember Spirit mid. I'm a little surprised at that, to be honest. I'm wondering whether this was largely down to... an attempt to kind of confuse the lanes a little bit, because we've got Morphling Shadow Shaman here rocking up against Tinker and Dazzle. Now, oh no, this is going to be interesting. It's full ranged in the lane. I think Lubby's actually hanging back, trying to stay out of vision, make sure he doesn't get spotted out. They'll still be expecting a solo Tinker, of course. The question in this lane is going to be whether Chains can actually get the XP and last hits he needs, because Tinker's a pretty hungry guy. He needs levels to be really effective. He needs items to be zipping around the map. It's going to be tricky. Now, I'm noticing as well, he hasn't picked up any kind of obvious building into starting items, by which I mean there's no null talisman or anything else like that. So he could be just rushing straight up to Boots of Travel. And it does look like Visage wants to either gank top or possibly mid. Going to be spotted out easily by this Observer Ward though. So I don't think there's going to be much action happening. I really think that that Enchantress needs to be getting back into the... Oh dear. Wow, KS taking a lot of harass here. This could be First Blood mid. Magnus just needs Skewer. Shockwave. Shockwave. There. Oh, and it misses! Wow. That should have been First Blood. Mid player will be kicking himself there. He, I think he actually had it lined up to hit even earlier than that. He was just waiting for that point because he thought it would make it easier to pull off. So I mean that's just madness. That's just absolute madness. Oh, and Ember Spirit gonna do a nice little chains there, and gonna make sure mid player doesn't get that rune. And it's a very useful rune as well. He almost died, and now he's got a regen rune. Enchantress picked up a Sada, now heading up into actually heading up into the dire jungle. Gonna have to watch out for mid though, because we've got a smoke gank coming in from BG1 and Fox. Oh dear, mid player. Don't be too aggressive here. But there he is. KS has been shackled, gets stunned. Nature's Prophet's coming in again though. Oh dear, KS. You better run. You better run, but of course... Oh, he doesn't have his boots out yet. He's got them in the stash. Enchantress has come in now. Drawing them off Ember Spirit, but possibly in danger herself. Oh no, it's Fox in danger. And there's the Ember Spirit. Killing the Sand King. And that will be a real edge for him mid. He already had his bottle up. He's now... What's that? Boots and 500 gold. That's a decent lead. Magnus kind of just walking underneath that tornado. And it kind of looks like they're trying to turn this into an easy push. Interesting. Not the choice I would have gone for. Gotta get that Wild Wing out of there. Oh, little charge there from Magnus. I can only assume what he was trying to do there was interrupt the channel, but it didn't work. Which is a little bit unfortunate. I think got pinged up by Enchantress, just kinda oh, what you trying to do, Magnus? You giant cow. Nice pulls going on top lane. I often find that this side lane pull, you need to be really good to make it actually work for you. I mean, just look at what's happened here. Both teams have been trying to kind of either pull or contest, and it has ended up with the Radiant heroes farming the Dire wave, and the Dire heroes farming the Radiant wave. It just kind of splits stuff up. It's weird. I see people do it all the time, and I'm never sure who's actually getting the advantage of it. What I'm finding really strange though is this camp hasn't been pulled. That ward's been down there for a while, so there's been no spawning in that camp for quite a while. But what that means is that camp has been sitting there, these 3 creeps, for at least the last kind of 2 minutes. And that's huge. I'm really surprised that we haven't been getting more pulls there. You know, I appreciate BG1's been running around to gank, but I would always say you do that after you've got your wave pulled back to a decent place. Otherwise, Ninja Boogie's going to be having a really hard time farming. And on that note, let's have a quick look at the last hit. Nice, 27 out there for Lycan. Tinker actually coming straight up behind on 25. So that's both of the first departure off-lane carries getting more farm than anybody on the Execration team, and that's not good looking, guys. That is not good looking. Oh dear, Chain's in trouble though. These stuns from tanking, I've got to say, I don't hugely agree with. And getting picked off there by a very nice laser from Chains, who's going to go down. I pretty much there it is. Now we got Lubby though. He kind of wants to get Boogie, and Visage is still in here. I'm going to say Enchantress because otherwise people will think I'm crazy. It's Enchantress. When I say Visage, I mean Enchantress because the player name is Visage. Has a Tango, manages to get out of the Sprout, and it looks like it's just going to end up forcing like half the Execration team to chase it across the map. So that was definitely in favour of first departure. They lost to Tinker. That's a little bit unfortunate. He wasn't someone they wanted to lose, but it's no big deal. No big deal. They were definitely in the edge there. Oh, and I briefly mentioned something about the Sand King stuns. To me, I think he could be doing them a little bit later. And I would say they're probably overlapping slightly with the Shadow Shaman Shackle at the moment, which isn't what you want. You don't, of course, want to give them a chance to get away or get off any abilities, so maybe it's better to overlap a bit. But I still think he's being slightly overbold with that.
Is this part of an
it's minions versus minions here over near Enchantress. Treants versus Santa.
Like they're really falling for
probably one of the most boring fights you'll see this game, so I will switch over to something else. Let's have a quick look at the items that the teams have out at the moment. Lycan already finished Vlad's 6 minutes in. That was very fast Vlad's. With all the action going on top and mid, he must have been having pretty much solo farm here. You know, extra farm from any treant he can actually eat. He needs to push this tower down now, though it is in deny range. Oh, here comes Ember Spirit coming to help, or at least chase off the Nature's Prophet. But no, it's not just a chase. It looks like this is actually going to be a kill. Beautiful job there. Uses Sleight of Fist to get the damage even through the Sprout, and at the same time, Lycan manages to destroy the tower. So that is actually a huge edge. That's worse, in my opinion, than kind of losing 2 or 3 heroes. You lost your solo offlaner. The enemy heavy carry got a tower kill, which you'd invested time in trying to deny. That's more than just a tower, my friends. That was fairly significant. Lumic rocket into the jungle. We've actually got a bit of stacking going on at this camp, so there's quite a bit of gold waiting for him here. Yes, sorry, items. I got to Vlad's, and then exciting things started happening. Tinker also already has Boots of Travel up. This is not good for Execration. First departure getting everything they need to really make this an absolutely devastating match. They've actually got their first tower down also without using much of the machines, which I'm very impressed with. Tinker, I assume, waiting for rearm before he starts, you know, wandering around the map pushing down towers, which I think is a good call. He'll have it now though, and Soul Ring. So yep, that'll be him porting out of lane. Wondering where he'll go next. I think that'll tell us where he's heading to mid. Yeah, I thought so. Probably just needs to pick up something from the secret shop or something similar. Ember Spirit being very, very bold at mid actually looks to be going 3-on-1 against a bunch of Execration heroes. Nice dodge there against the Shockwave. And yeah, Execration, they're grouping up, but I'm not sure that's actually where the push is going to come from. Ember Spirit is great for kind of baiting out the enemy and forcing them to come to a position that you don't actually intend to go to, because with Remnant, a bit like Morphling's Replicate, it's just an instant teleport to somewhere else on the map. Instant cast, you just fly over there really quickly, and then you've got a whole load of enemy heroes just sat there going "Doi." So yeah, I would hope that this is bait rather than an actual attempt to push coming out from first departure here. Lycan, even though the wave is this far pushed out, still getting basically free farm down here on the offlane. Now this is where Execration want to be focusing. That is a gank attempt. Ganking Lycan never easy. His ult makes him move so damn fast. You basically need a lot of lockdown the entire time. But that being said, I mean, he's easier to kill when he's solo and way out of position than he is when he's coming in with his whole team and wrecking your face. Something to think about maybe. Execration getting a nice ward up here. They've kind of recognized that they aren't going to have control over this part of their own jungle. Tinker can just use March of the Machines to farm down a camp incredibly quickly. So they've actually just warded the camp, and I agree with that. They've also got some decent vision with that. Chains rocking in, doing a March of the Machines. I don't use Tinker, but that didn't look like a very good march to me. I think it shouldn't have been going this way. Somebody in the comments, please tell me. And Ninja Boogie actually going to be taking a lot of loot just harassing, but just being probably, probably the most powerful just straight right-click ability in the game, in my opinion. There's always, I prefer OD with his orbs, but can't really argue with him, particularly if you follow it up with something fancy. One of the things that I always wish I see in every game, and basically never do, is Enchantress full stuff, where you just you wait until you got level 3 images, maybe you even get Ags. You throw one and then you full staff the enemy before it hits, and they go flying away. Here comes Chains. He's coming in with another March of the Machines. This is going to be a lot of harass, and it is top tower that they're going for. He's been nipping around the map, trying to basically just distract, and Fox actually about to go down just to the March of the Machine harass that he was trying to sit through in Sandstorm. Now BG01 in real trouble and just absolutely melts. Lubby doing his job, making sure that the entire Execration, first departure team is healed up once they do a push like that. I would expect there'll be a heal coming out on Ember Spirit. Yep, there we go. Ember Spirit pretty soon. Tinker actually cancelling his TP. Was that intentional, buddy? Yes, it was. He did cancel the TP. He's going to go and push another lane. It looks like his team are actually trying to loop up behind Lumic and mid player here. Lumic almost going down. Wait, that'll do it.
Maybe they're not actually damaging it.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised KS didn't go for that. To be honest, the AOE from landing at that Remnant probably would have killed Nature's. Fox now kind of in trouble. He doesn't have his stun. He doesn't have Sandstorm on cooldown, but luckily his entire team are rotating in. So that's oh wow, no, Dazzle manages to save. So it's Dazzle down in exchange for Sand King and Sand King and Shadow Chamber. Not really the best trade for first departure, only relative to what they've been doing all game. Like compared to the other fights this game, that was when they actually lost. But they've been doing very, very well. So no big surprise there. Lycan is going for the Necro pickup. I think I said in the draft, I don't love Lycan with Necro. I think he's it's good, but I don't think it should be his first item. When you're this far ahead, it may as well. I agree with it. Fox doing a quick Sandstorm. I think he not sure what is accomplishing with that, but that's fine. Ninja Boogie wants to come in for a steal, but Rosh isn't down yet. Roshan killed by the Dire. Good job there from Execration. Morphling does get the Aegis of the Immortal, and with a beautiful epicenter in from Fox, that's actually a huge fight they've got going on there. They don't seem to be able to actually secure the kill, so okay, it's Enchantress, it's Lycan dead, but they've lost 3. I really thought they had that there. They got a beautiful Sand King initiation, they just could not find the kills. Enchantress out fairly quickly, Lycan incredibly low. But yeah, just they could not secure those last few kills, and it ends up with only Magnus on the board, and that's with Morphling having the Aegis. I am struggling to see Execration pull this back. I mean, they've just proved that their combo works really, really well. So let's think. They've got a Nature's Prophet. They can play the split push game all game. Basically, he's always someone you've got to watch out for. But he will be running up against the Tinker. Maybe not quite as mobile in the choices of where he can go, but definitely a very good split pusher. Just ask Arteezy. What they'll be trying to do is farm up the Morphling. He's one of those heroes who just late game
Dire's top tower is under
can
siege.
make his presence known quite hugely. Lots of damage, lots and lots of escape and high mobility as well. I'm wondering if he'll be going shotgun morph as we've been seeing recently. Seems to be coming back into the meta. KS actually going up there and he's just playing with the enemy team here. You know, he's farming right under their noses, right under 3 of their noses, while it's just him. Visage coming up here on Enchantress. I'm gonna get better at that now. Coming up here on Enchantress, basically just trying to make sure that there's some space being made for that Ember Spirit, who is building. Looks like he's on his way to his first Battle Fury. Now at 6 for 0, he should be getting that ridiculously soon. He's already got drums up, he's already got phase boots, he of course had bottle. Oh, and that's an Invis rune. I would be surprised if they don't try and initiate on this. They've got 3 heroes on mid. There are 3 of the Execration heroes as well, and the Execration heroes have actually smoked. They've smoked. They're taking a bit of a circuitous route round into their own jungle, I can only assume, because they do want to contest the mid, but they want to jump on them by surprise from the side. Don't want to get too far into the machines. If they're going to go for this, it's got to be soon. That tower isn't going to stand up too long by itself. There's BG01, goes in, gets the wards down, gets the shackle on the Enchantress. Magnus there to finish it off, but Chains just nuking down Shadow Shaman. So yeah, the shackle was basically wasted there. Lasted for about half a second before Shadow Shaman was murdered, brutally murdered in the mid lane, guys. And yeah, that again not going the way Execration want. They were doing an initiation there and ended up losing 2 in exchange for 1. Enchantress, I think, is a useful kill. You know, looking at the lineup, she's obviously being played as kind of a position 4 here, just glass cannon plus support. I'm never sure about that. She's just so damn scary. Mid player going for what would have been a beautiful blinking charge if it hadn't been for wow. Okay, quick update there. That was a beautiful dodge of Magnus's RP, which has been totally wasted and is on cooldown for 100 seconds by KS. And I mean, this is why Ember Spirit is so powerful. It isn't just about Sleight of Fist having one of the most ridiculously scaling damage of any ability in the entire game. It's about the fact that he can dodge any single point of damage in Sleight of Fist as well. They were trying to chase down Tinker there. KS just turned around and started wrecking their faces. There's nothing they can do. Now the entire Execration team is down. GG is called by Morphling at 16 minutes in. Well, I mean, good game, guys. That was first departures from the get-go. Execration heading down to the Division 1 or 2 playoffs. First departure secure in their place. They'll be first division next season on the jDL. And although of course, you know, neither of these teams are heading to the final, so the caliber in the bracket overall has been much higher than what we've seen here today. My name is Grumbleduke. Thank you very much for tuning in. Anybody who's watching, please do subscribe. I'd really like to be doing this more. Maybe just casting, that would be a dream, and support really helps me do that. You can also check out my associated casters in my casting description down on the wave. Very, very well done to first departure. That was probably one of the quickest games I've ever cast. Beautiful execution. And yeah, GG guys, there'll be more coming up tonight. Ciao.